In early March 1921, Soviet newspapers urgently announced a rebellion in Kronstadt. The uprising was reportedly led by former Tsarist General Kozlovsky, a White Guard figure. This insurrection shocked the young Soviet state, threatening its fragile hold on power. Kronstadt, a key naval fortress, had long been a symbol of revolutionary strength, making the revolt especially alarming. On March 8th, at the 10th Party Congress in Moscow, Lenin addressed delegates with unexpected urgency. He declared the Kronstadt Uprising more dangerous than the combined threats of Denikin, Yudenik, and Kolchak. To suppress the revolt, 390 delegates and guests were sent immediately to Kronstadt. Additionally, nearly 3,000 communists in major cities like Moscow and Petrograd were mobilized to join the assault, reflecting the regime's determination to crush the rebellion swiftly. By March 20th, Soviet newspapers confirmed the victory. The city, all forts, and the entire fleet are now in the hands of Soviet power. Comrade Debenko, the fortress commandant, imposed a curfew forbidding anyone from walking the streets after 7 p.m. His warning was clear: down with those who help white generals start a new civil war. The Kronstadt Uprising was decisively ended, but its impact on Soviet history remained profound. In 1921, the Kronstadt Uprising shook Soviet Russia, but its true causes remained obscured for decades. It was only in 1999, when authentic documents from sealed party archives were published, that the real reasons behind this historic event came to light. Among these documents were editions of Izvestia, the newspaper printed by the Kronstadt rebels themselves. In their March 8, 1921 issue, they posed a crucial question: what are we fighting for? The rebels expressed their disappointment that the October Revolution had failed to bring freedom to the working class. Instead, they argued, a new form of oppression had emerged, enforced by bayonets, bullets, and the Cheka secret police. The communist government replaced liberty with rifles and prisons to protect the privileges of the ruling bureaucracy. Workers became enslaved through state-controlled unions, and the Communist Party was no longer a defender of the people, but a regime clinging to power by any means. The Kronstadt rebels declared that life under communist dictatorship was worse than death. Their uprising was not anti-Soviet, but aimed at true socialist freedom. Their powerful slogan was, "Power to the Soviets, not to the parties," specifically rejecting Bolshevik party control and calling for genuine workers' democracy. By 1921, Russia was on the brink of collapse after years of civil war. Starving workers in Petrograd were rising in unrest. A delegation of soldiers and sailors was sent to investigate and discovered that hundreds had already been arrested by the Cheka, the Soviet secret police. This harsh crackdown ignited the flame of rebellion in Kronstadt itself. Soon after, a delegation led by Lenin arrived, tasked with restoring order, but tensions were already boiling over. On March 1st, a massive rally gathered around 16,000 people at Anchor Square near the Naval Cathedral. When a delegation sent by Zinoviev tried to speak, they were booed. Instead, sailors from the battleships Petropavlovsk and Sevastopol read a resolution that electrified the crowd. They demanded immediate new elections by secret ballot, freedom of speech, press, assembly and unions, release of political prisoners, abolition of political departments, and the right for peasants to own land and livestock. They also called for free small-scale private production through personal labor. A special Cheka commission later confirmed the rebellion was spontaneous, with no evidence of foreign or White Guard coordination. Despite this, on March 2nd, Lenin and Trotsky issued a statement branding the Kronstadt Rebellion as a White Guard conspiracy led by French intelligence and General Kozlovsky. They ignored the rebels' real demands entirely. In Kronstadt, this declaration was taken as a direct threat, deepening the divide and setting the stage for a harsh crackdown on the uprising. The Kronstadt Rebellion remains a dramatic moment of political unrest and a powerful symbol of resistance. On March 5, 1921, Leon Trotsky signed a crucial order to recreate the 7th Army. This newly formed force was tasked with a swift and decisive mission: to crush the Kronstadt Rebellion. Trotsky appointed the young and capable Mikhail Tukhachevsky as its commander, signaling the importance of this operation in restoring control and order to the region. The 7th Army's objective was clear and urgent. Kronstadt, a naval fortress and symbol of revolutionary zeal, had risen against the Bolshevik government. Trotsky's strategy was to suppress this uprising quickly to prevent it from inspiring further dissent. The army was mobilized rapidly, preparing for a forceful assault designed to end the rebellion without delay. On the same day the 7th Army was formed, Trotsky issued a stern ultimatum. All who have raised their hands against the socialist fatherland must immediately lay down their weapons. All arrested commissars must be released. At the same time, I order preparation for the armed destruction of the rebels. In defiance, the Kronstadt Revolutionary Committee responded by ordering the disarmament and removal of all commissars and communists still inside the fortress, setting the stage for a dramatic confrontation. On March 7th, Soviet forces launched a fierce artillery assault on Kronstadt. At 6 in the evening, the first shells, weighing between 250 and 400 kilograms, slammed into the city and its fleet. The heavy bombardment marked a brutal start to the conflict, shaking the very foundations of the island's defenses and signaling a harsh crackdown by the Soviet government. Despite the destruction and casualties caused by the relentless shelling, the fortress remained remarkably calm. The rebels returned fire with determination, defending their stronghold against overwhelming odds. Their steady resistance under fire demonstrated both courage and discipline, standing firm amid chaos as the battle unfolded around them. Yet the bombardment had an unexpected consequence. Hundreds of ordinary communists living on the island began resigning from the Communist Party. Their letters of resignation were printed in the rebel newspaper, exposing deep fractures within the party. One letter stated, "We, communists of the 2nd District Committee, have decided to leave the Communist Party because the first shots against Kronstadt were fired by Trotsky and his followers. We consider this a crime against the people." Within 10 days, nearly 500 such resignations appeared, revealing the profound impact of the shelling. At dawn on March 8th, Red Army forces launched their first assault on Kronstadt from the north. On the very same day, the 10th Party Congress opened in Moscow. Lenin addressed the delegates, confidently stating that the White Guard rebellion might be crushed within hours, signaling optimism about the operation's success. However, by evening, grim news arrived. The assault had completely failed. The rebels scattered the Red Cadets with heavy fire. Reports estimate around 600 Red Army soldiers either died or drowned during the attack, and 200 were captured by the rebels. Shockingly, 2 battalions of the Kuban regiment voluntarily defected to join the rebels, deepening the crisis for the Bolsheviks. This unexpected failure shocked the Bolshevik leadership, prompting a nationwide mobilization of communists. Among those sent to suppress Kronstadt were party delegate and writer Alexander Fadeev and future Marshal Konev. To prevent further desertions, blocking units were established behind Red Army lines to shoot deserters and capture anyone attempting to flee, showing the harsh measures taken to regain control. The second plan involved attacking Kronstadt from 3 directions. The main force advanced from Oranienbaum, where the ice route was shortest. A northern group attacked from Sestroretsk. The total army reached 45,000 soldiers. They were supported by 159 artillery guns, 25 airplanes, and armored trains. The Kronstadt garrison had around 18,000 defenders. On March 16th, a secret order was issued. Upon capturing Kronstadt, all rebel newspapers and leaflets must be confiscated immediately, so they could not spread among soldiers. On the night of March 17, 1921, the Red Army launched a determined assault on the Kronstadt fortress. Battleships Petropavlovsk and Sevastopol opened fire, but their impact was limited. Lacking fuel, shells had to be carried by hand, and frozen ice trapped the ships, blocking their firing zones. The fleet was weakened further by the loss of trained naval officers, many killed during the February Revolution of 1917. By 1921, the Baltic fleet had almost no professional officers left to command effectively. Around the fortress, mines posed a deadly threat, yet sappers refused to clear them, unwilling to fight in another civil war. This left the ice intact, ironically easing the Red Army's approach. 2 regiments of penal troops attacked from the southwest, crossing the city rampart, but were decimated by crossfire. A fresh unit of sailors then struck from behind, wiping out the survivors. Despite these losses, the Red Army pressed on. Greater success came from the southeast, facing Petrograd, where defenses were lighter. The ice there was so strong that Commander Tukhachevsky later sent cavalry across it, an unexpected move that surprised defenders. These combined efforts gradually overcame the fortress's resistance, marking a decisive moment in the conflict. The assault on Kronstadt revealed the harsh realities of civil war: scarce resources, reluctant soldiers, and desperate tactics shaping the battle's brutal course. Around 6 a.m., troops reached the city near the Petrograd Gate. Some Red soldiers entered through windows of empty barracks. By 7 a.m., street fighting had begun. Despite their huge numerical advantage, Soviet troops could not quickly win. The rebels fought fiercely. One of the strongest defenses came from the machine school. Sailors and workers barricaded themselves inside and fired machine guns from rooftops. By evening, Red forces had advanced only 1 or 2 blocks in many areas. Angered by the resistance, Tukhachevsky issued a secret order at 9:50 p.m. on March 17th. "I order the decisive development of our initial success. In city fighting, artillery must be widely used. No later than tomorrow, attack the battleships Petropavlovsk and Sevastopol with suffocating gases and chemical shells." Tukhachevsky. However, he never managed to use chemical weapons. As darkness fell, the most battle-ready part of the Kronstadt garrison, along with the uprising leaders, retreated to the western edge of the island. By 5 a.m. on March 18th, the city was captured by government forces. Around 2,500 rebels were taken prisoner. 95% of them were sentenced to execution. Later, many death sentences were changed to imprisonment or exile. On Lenin's suggestion, a special concentration camp was created in the north for Kronstadt sailors. Around 6,500 people were sent behind barbed wire. Around 8,000 rebels escaped across the ice into Finland. After the 1922 amnesty, half of them returned to Russia. And so ended one of the bloodiest and most tragic confrontations in Russian history.